flavour of what Esker can offer and how we can assist within the O2C cycle. We're going to talk about how the AI, the data within these solutions, where it's placed, how it works for you. But not only that as well, is just go through some of the customer results. At the end of the day, you'll have salesmen up here pitching at you. We're just really going to give you an overview of some of the solutions, what they can do, but more importantly, what our customers said about us and the tangible results so you can see where we can essentially help you. Please, at any point, raise your hand, questions. We can chuck the box around, try and make it interactive as you can for you. But yeah, thank you very much. So where we're going to start today is just want to give you an overview of who Esker are. Some of you may know us, some of you may not know who we are. So Esker, we're a French company. We're a head office in Lyon. We've been going for nearly 40 years as of next year, so we're quite an established company. We're not new to the market. We are just fast approaching now 1,100 employees. What a big unique thing to Esker as well is we have 15 offices located around the globe, and the reason why I want to spend some time on that is we're able to offer support to where our businesses and our customers need to be. That's ranging from the US all the way through EMEA, the Middle East for you, down to APAC, Australia. And each of those offices have a professional services team. They have sales staff. They have a customer success team. So essentially, the local language, we can give the support to our customers and where we want to be for you. And as of last year, we sort of turned over 180 million euros, sort of give or take, with regards to it. So what we're here to talk about today is, again, just giving a feeling flavour of what Esker can look to do for you. So as you can see on the right-hand side, we call this the flower or the cheese wheel, essentially, at Esker. What we're mainly going to focus on today is the order to cash arena in there. So we're going to touch on each of those segments, and that's where our sort of core business is, and it pieces to you in the credit world. But one key thing to take away from today as well, when you're potentially choosing a partner within the AI software automation space, is think about the other options they can look to do for you. So what makes Esker quite unique to the market is we're one of the only providers to have a full source to pay lifecycle and order to cash. And what that means to you as the potential end customer is you could, like Esker and, deploy collections or cash application, for example. But what we're able to do is actually leverage the existing connection with the ERP and then actually approach source to pay. I'm finding as, salesmen specialising in order to cash, about 30 to 40% of my deals now, we're now discussing the AP side of things and when the automation comes into there, because we can make a better business case, bring costs down by deploying more solutions across the board, and companies are really, really liking that.
Yes, before we dive into the solutions and the customer results, our customers have achieved, we want to clarify a bit the difference between artificial intelligence and RPA, robotic process automation, because sometimes the lines are a bit blurred and it's used a bit simultaneously. So we will take a few seconds out of this presentation to actually clarify what is AI. When we're talking about AI, it's basically when machines and computer systems are performing tasks that normally require basically the use of your brain. And this is also, so to say, when talking about AI, it resembles and could be compared to the human brain. So, in other words, it mimics, may it be in word or in pictures, AI mimics cognitive functions. On the other side, RPA is, let's say, not so clever. If you want to compare it to the human body, if artificial intelligence is the brain, RPA is probably the arms and the legs of the body. Because what RPA is doing is basically process automation by looking at how do we humans do it. So it is rule-based and trigger-driven. It is, for example, because that's been something we've been coming across for quite a bit in this conference as well already. It is, for example, logging into a portal, uploading an invoice, logging out again. That's RPA. It's not artificial intelligence. So just to draw a very rough line between what is artificial intelligence, it's the brain. What is RPA? It's basically the arms and the legs. And this is, why did we say that? because you can see here, these are our solutions and where we use artificial intelligence and RPA. And it's worth differentiating what do we use where. We'll just go quickly through the solutions before we dive detailed into each and every one of them. First of all, credit management, what we're all here for. We do have a proper artificial intelligence in our credit management solution, providing the users and providing our customers with suggested credit limits, also suggestion for credit risk categories that could be automatically taken over, but don't have to. That's important. AI, to us, is a supportive function. It is an additional layer of information, but it's not substituting human decisions. So we're giving an additional layer of information here by suggested credit limits that are basically facilitating informed, well-made decisions.
And just moving on to the next one, you can see with customer inquiries, so this is now where we get into the likes of what we call NLP or natural language processing, ChatGPT and things like that, starting to leverage all of your inbound inquiries, understanding where the emails are coming from, who should they be rerouting through, tracking SLAs, how long does it take you to respond, routing to the right department for you. So again, just taking on that layer where you've got somebody sat there, normally going through email after email, forwarding to the right department. Again, we can now utilize AI to help you assist with that. And again, essentially just give you time back. You know, Mark made a fantastic point yesterday. Attrition, now that's the key thing. I chat to a lot of customers, some of our competition love to talk about, automation rates, this rates, and whenever I'm out with clients, I'm like, we can do all that for you, but effectively what we're looking to do is we want to give you time back to your staff. That's essentially what we want to do. And therefore that improves staff morale and leads on from there.
Thank you. Next up, it's order management and shipping. And again, you can see on the very top, there's this nice blue RPA logo. To retrieve the actual order is done by RPA, because it doesn't require AI. It's basically just logging on somewhere or downloading it, extracting it from emails, whatsoever. But afterwards, when it comes to extracting the order data and classifying the order, for example, PO, non-PO driven order, that's where we use artificial intelligence, because this is something that cannot always be mimicked by RPA. This is really something, if you think of all the orders you or your company receive, where they come from, how they look, most of them are hopefully structured, but maybe some of them are only semi-structured. So that's where you need artificial intelligence, and a good artificial intelligence, a format-independent artificial intelligence, and that's what we're using there to extract the data and classify the orders in order management.
Moving on next to customer invoice, again you can see RPA there. We can start to leverage APIs as well in terms of actually delivering invoices now to the likes of portals. I'm sure everyone in this room is aware of the lovely e-voicing mandates that are coming out from the relevant countries out there. As a salesman, it's the biggest headache I have at the moment, trying to stay up to date with it, but Esker can support and help with that as well.
Next up, customer payments, cash allocation. A bit similar to order management. Again, retrieving the remittances is an RPA task, but classifying these remittances and extracting data from it, that's where we use our artificial intelligence, because they might be structured differently, they might look differently. That's where we need an artificial intelligence, our Synergy AI, that is format independent and requires the data wherever it is on the document. And also, of course, because it's cash application, also to auto-allocate payments. That is also where we're using artificial intelligence. Matt will go into detail about that one in a few minutes.
Perfect. And then we move on to collections and disputes, an area I'm sure we're all aware of from there. But again, we're using AI to understand, looking at payment behaviours of customers, the risk appetites, and what the solution can do is prioritise the right customers to contact for you. If you go from a manual ledger where people use Excel, they go for the largest debts for you, what the system's able to do is actually, you need to be focusing on the more of the bottom end, because this is your high-risk customers, because we've had notifications from the bureaus, the credit insurers, the payment behaviours and history. We can suggest actions and messages, so I touched on it with customer inquiries, but again now, the forefront of collections, as you see with some of our competitors around here as well, is, you know, ChatGPT, NLP, reading what's coming in from a collections perspective and suggesting actions back to your collectors. You know, the biggest one, I haven't received my invoice. You know, normally you'd have to go into the ERP system, select the invoice, create an email and send it out. Now what the solution does from our perspective is, are you missing an invoice? It just pops up, send invoice to the customer and you select the invoice, all from the home screen. It saves about 10 to 30 seconds, but that adds up through the course of the day. And again, it comes back to making your staff happy with doing mundane tasks for you. I'll pass over to Daniel.
And to finish off this nice little colored roller coaster here, reports and analytics. That's not a separate solution, actually. It's included in all of our solutions, comprehensive reporting and analytics capabilities. Why have we put it on here? Because the data you get from reporting and analytics, also with the help of artificial intelligence, they can help you to predict the cash flow. And this is something where you, within your company, can generate an extra value, added value, insights, level up your position in the company by just giving the management, other departments, the possibility to get a good insight not only on the actual cash flow, but also make predictions on, okay, based on what we've seen in collections, based on what's in our credit management solution, how will the cash flow actually develop? And this is really something in uncertain, fast-changing times that many of our customers put more and more focus on, saying, okay, the one thing is to get insights on what am I actually doing right now. But I want to see if these trends continue, and what are these trends? How will the cash flow, how will the financial situation of the company develop? And this is also enabled by AI-supported and AI-driven reporting. So let's dive into the solutions and also the customer results. First, we want to. It's a bit to kill the suspense. We want to start with the credit management solution. What you're all experts in. Quite very early in the process, the solution, the Esker credit management solution, allows our customers to actually create, customize, and send credit applications, and to do checks before you even do business with a customer. This is also something our customers put more and more emphasis on saying, before I make all the effort of putting them into the ERP, giving them a credit limit, which I don't know anything about it, can I check beforehand? And this is possible with the solution, creating a credit application, letting it fill out by the customer, letting it check by internal departments, and then deciding, is this some company we actually want to do business with? Of course, connection to external credit data. We have included a lot of credit agencies and credit insurers as standard. If there are new ones, like market or regional specific, we can include them very, very easily. What's important there to say is, we at Esker are no data brokers. So that means to really fetch the data of some credit bureau like Dun & Bradstreet or so, you, respectively your company, would have to have a contract with them. That is not done by us. We're not selling any data or stuff. We will use your contract and extract the data you have in your contractual agreement with Dun & Bradstreet or whoever, and fetch them with our solution. Then, of course, when there is changes in credit limits, new credit limits, comprehensive approval workflows, that's also very, very important. It could be automated. Some credit decisions can be automated if they meet some certain requirements, but also the manual workflows are very, very highly configurable. Periodic reviews and alerts, that's something I was approached yesterday several times. Do we have the possibility to periodically review customers? Yes, of course, with the solution. The solution allows you also to monitor your customers differently. As I've said before, if there are new customers or maybe project customers that require a one-off high credit limit, because they want to do business with you maybe only once or twice, but big style. Then we have the possibilities by credit checks. And if you do have customers you're doing regular business with, who buy goods, who require spare parts whatsoever, and you want to monitor them maybe depending on size or depending on payment behavior, every 3 months, every 6 months, this can be done by periodic reviews automatically popping up in the solution. I mentioned the credit term recommendations that are AI-based and supported by artificial intelligence. And also, the very last point here, customer management. The solution is intentionally built as centralizing data, centralizing information about your customers to serve as a, let's say, lightweight CRM as well. Because to make well-informed, good credit decisions, you will have to have all the information possible about your customers. And this is also facilitated by the solution where all the information and all the insights may be, as I said, credit bureaus whatsoever, but maybe also contractual agreements. It's all stored in the solution on the customer page, accessible with one view.
So just a case study we want to sort of give, for example. This is a very, very large pharmaceutical company, and they came to us in the UK with the challenge of, well, they went out to market, and we need to onboard our customers. We need to do the relevant checks. We want to retract the exposure, but at the moment, it takes us 15 days from a customer make an application. Because they're pharmaceuticals, they have to then go through a relevant medical board to connect to, and then go through relevant checks, the workflows, the credit limits, and things like that from that perspective. We managed to bring it down from 15 days to 2.3 days on average. That really, and unfortunately I'm not allowed to name the company, but it's an extremely, extremely large company. And it's, George will come out and talk to all of our potential customers, because it's been, in his words, a game changer. Something we've not really talked about as well. George has very nicely shared with us the procurement process and actually the scoring matrix. A big thing, I keep mentioning this attrition to you, the big reason where we scored is not only could our solution work and do for them, the UI. So their users went out to their users, and our UI is exactly the same across every single solution we've just shown you on that screen there, and the users love to use it. And my final point with that as well is where we did that is, Esker, we're not a company that we're just, here you go, here's credit management. We will work with you to understand where your needs were. The case was here, we were able to build a custom API to connect to the relevant medical board and integrate that as part of the workflow. That's not bureaus or credit insurers. That was a one-off instance from there. So just Esker's philosophy is we work with our customers to get what the right results to say.
Here's some other customer results we have with TEC. You can see here, of course, by using our credit management solution, they have reduced the DSO by a considerable 10 days. But what's also important, maybe to your daily job and what you are actually doing, the credit management solution at TEC allows our customer to accelerate the accounts and the credit applications. So it saves you time, which in turn for your business allows to do business quicker with customers, because the credit applications and all, let's say the customer onboarding is quicker. And of course that in turn again reduces the time until you can do business and actually send an invoice to the customer if they're onboarded faster. Some quick words about invoice delivery, because this is also something coming up recently and it won't go away. Multi-channel delivery, that is facilitated by our solution, which means the invoices can be delivered on different channels depending on your customers' preferences. Having said that, of course, this will be harnessed down in the next few years by e-invoicing and e-invoicing requirements, e-invoicing laws, compliance requirements all over Europe and other countries as well. And our e-invoicing and our invoice delivery solution is already compliant in nearly 70 countries. And just as Matt mentioned in the very beginning, not just the AR side, but also the AP side. So this is really something we're seeing with our customers approaching us for a holistic approach, saying, okay, the one thing is sending out invoices, sending out e-invoices that comply to, let's say, French regulations, Polish regulations, German regulations, soon to become. But we are also receiving invoices, and we need to get them in our system. For example, in Germany, if you receive an XIII from January next year, that's just an XML. You will not find out what actually this invoice is for unless you've got some partner who can convert it, feed it to your ERP system, make it literally visible and readable. And this is also what we have in our solution. Again, a thing we've come across and which is a big topic. We understood that already in this conference as well. Portal integration. We do have a wide range of possibilities of including customers' portals to actually transmit invoices to these customer portals. With RPA, for example, for the rather difficult ones, but also we have our own EDI subsidiary in Esker in Germany. So the ones that are connectable via EDI and or facilitate standard connectors, we do have a wide range of actually connecting different portals and different technology, different portal technology to the solution. Yes, again, some customer feedback on invoice delivery. You can see here Fujifilm. Basically, the focus was on visibility, transparency, and of course, make it faster. And this is what we achieved: 100% visibility on invoice delivery rate, lower costs, quicker payment cycles, facilitated by faster invoice processing, and also a high customer adoption rate. Toshiba, again, of course, what they've been aiming for was time reduction, make it faster, make it quicker. We achieved that by a 50% decrease in transaction time. But also, the other thing that is quite important here, target of Toshiba was also to make, to actually provide their customers with a customer portal where they could see invoices and other documents. That's also something that has been discussed here before. And this is also something we achieved with Toshiba: greater accessibility and also traceability, because of course you will know once your customer have logged onto this portal and what information or documents they actually have been fetching from there.
So just moving on to cash application next. Just want to give a sort of high-level overview. I'm sure we're all aware of what cash application is with regards to it all, but to my earlier point is, cash app is something that I chat a lot, especially within the UK, the Nordics region. It's quite a hot topic for me at the moment. I'm finding my customers, it's quite a manual and mundane task, and we can really deliver the time from the back here. So remittance management. Our OCR, so our AI that actually extracts the data, is being leveraged from order management. We have patents on our OCR, so it's very different from where the competition's is. We, on average, I think it's 93% of remittances are read straight away. But where our AI comes into it, we're not what's called template-based. We actually learn from your user's interactions. So, for example, a remittance comes in and it misses one line, for example. Your user will go in and tell the system where to actually extract the information from, and then what it does, it remembers the next time that remittance comes in from that customer, where it is. And again, bring it back to the premise of just saving time for it. Of course, we do the allocations that you expect. We do underpayments, overpayments, early payment discounts. There's a lot that we can do within the cash application process. Exception managements, write-offs, and of course the ultimate goal is to output that back into your ERP. I'm going through that because I'm a bit conscious of time, but I want to show you some sort of customer results off the back of it. So Fletcher Steel is an Australian company, and again, I'll come back to the time, as you can see down here for you. The biggest thing was remittances. They also targeted us to actually get an automation rate of 70% within the first year, and we achieved 74% within the first 6 months. And that's down to the CX teams working with Fletcher Steel and their users using it. The beauty with the solution is the more that your users use it, the better the solution gets because it has the machine learning capabilities. But they are able to give remittances from 2 hours down to mere minutes, and that's where the attrition comes back to you.
Next up, it's our claims and deductions solution. To put it simply and make it short, it's about actually validating, is a claim or is a deduction valid. That's why we're also using artificial intelligence to fetch all the information that is necessary to validate a claim. So, for example, if the customer says, yeah, amount wasn't all right, then we're fetching with the data available what was delivered from the packaging slip and see if this was actually what was ordered and what the customer has signed for, and then can reject it or approve it. And this also includes investigation workflows, which are breaking down silos, because you'll get involved departments who have the knowledge, who are important to actually validate or clarify a claim. And again, of course, ERP integration, if a claim is approved, it can be booked automatically to the ERP. Sanofi, customer results. 50% faster issue processing time. That is one of the main drivers and one of the main customer results we have with claims and deductions. But I would like to highlight also the figure on the far right. 10 departments involved in claim resolution. That is really something, again, that enhances the value of the solution and the departments dealing with it by including other departments and by breaking down these silos and, again, reducing the time to resolve issues.
So moving on to collections, again just giving a quick overview of what the collection solution can do. As you would expect, it will send your dunning reminders for you, pre-dunning, as someone asked me today as well. Intelligent to-do lists are prioritising. We look at the last 18 months of your customer's payment behaviour. We then benchmark that against the Bureau, the insurance data, your own internal and external credit scores. And with that, the system is able to prioritise the right customers for you to contact at the right time. Task management, clear visibility from disputes, promise to pays. The system is really good with forecasting and payment predictions as well. So again, we're looking at that behaviour, and the system will go, well, actually, it's very likely the customer's going to pay you because they normally do a bank run on a Friday, 25th, for example. Let's move that collection call till after that date. Again, I've mentioned on the risk side, and the key thing behind all of our solutions is the performance monitoring. I honestly have a customer who really liked our collection solution, but when I showed her the out-of-the-box reporting for collection, she was ready to sign there and then, because it saved her 7 hours a week. And the beauty is that organisation had multiple ERPs, and she had to go into each of the ERP, download the data. With a solution like ours, and if you've got multiple ERPs, you simply plug it in and the solution takes care of it. As soon as it's plugged in, it's ready to report on DSO for you and forecasting. It's a really, really powerful tool. Just moving on to a couple of examples. So Trek for you, really, really good customer. We have got the figures on the reduced DSO, but it was they were so happy with us because, as you can see here, it's deployed in 18 offices and used by 32 collectors in 14 different languages. We're able to give that support to them. They wanted that global support as opposed to having a centralised location, and it's just improved their collections process. The one I do want to talk to you about is Navuna Personal Finance. They were using a competitor. And their biggest headache was the reporting side. There's a lovely video on our website if you want to go have a look at it. I'm not going to bore you with that today, ladies and gents, but a key thing for them is they managed to save 144 days of staff time by the reporting. It used to take them 2 days a month per collector to do the reporting, and out of the box they said they were ready to rock and roll from that, and it equated to, I think they put £27,000, and that was their big ROI case on that time saved. So Navuna, there's a really good video online. They go into some really good granular detail about the solution. And again, just some high-level other customers. TEC, 10 days reduction in DSO. Toyota, 7 days. Lubtech, 7 days. Mitsubishi, 4 days. And then again, reduced past due payments. Again, ProLift Toyota was 60%. Lubtech was 50%.
Only 1 or 2 words about order management, because I can see some eyes staring us down there from the back already. I've mentioned before the heart of order management is basically the extraction of order data. Again, it is important to stress that we don't have a artificial intelligence that is, let's say, format driven or format dependent, because that's basically RPA. We do have an artificial intelligence that looks all over all the different formats for the data that is in an order, extracts it, validates it, and then pushes it to the ERP system. again, some customer results here for order management. For Heineken, one of our biggest and one of our most happiest customers for order management. Of course, orders processed way faster with our solution. And what we achieved with Heineken was actually give them the freedom to focus on the orders that, for example, need clarification or have unusual ordering quantities, because that's also something our artificial intelligence solution recognizes. Is there an unusual order quantity? And by automating and by making orders touchless, they could focus on the difficult orders and, on average, reduce the orders and make the processing time 5 times faster.
Just to add as well, whilst we've got the audience, the credit room, obviously, our guys is to manage the exposure, the risk, do the collection side. But I would ask you to actually think about what your company does from a customer service and order management perspective. By having automation in there, speeds up the process, but what it does, it gets rid of errors. If you still have a team of 25, 30 CSRs who are manually keying data, that causes you errors because things are being delivered out wrong. That comes through to the collections department, not paying invoices because they weren't happy. So one thing I will try to get across to you is, ask that question when you're thinking about it, because this can help improve the collections profile at the back end, because things are being processed correctly because you've got automation doing it. And then just finally, because time's up for ourselves, as I say, I'll leave this on the stage there for you right now, but we are registered, recognised, I should say, as a leader across Gartner, Ardent Partners, IDC, and Forrester. But we're out of time, ladies and gents, so thank you very much for your time. I do appreciate it. We've got...
And of course, if you have questions, because we don't have time right now, we're straight out there. Come and visit us. We're always happy to talk with you. Thank you very much.